Come on in, pull up a chair, and take a load off, because today I'll be unboxing and taking a first look at Almoravid, Reconquista and Riposte in Spain, 1085 to 1086 from GMT Games. And we'll dive in right after this. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang channel. As I mentioned in the open, today I'm going to be unboxing and taking a first look at Almoravid, Reconquista and Riposte in Spain, 1085 to 1086 from GMT Games. It's designed by Volko Ruhnke, with artwork provided by Chechu Nieto Sanchez and Ivan Saraces Cruz. Hopefully I'm relatively close on those pronunciations. This game is for 1 or 2 players, ages 14 and up, plays in 3 to 4 hours, and does carry an MSRP of $90. That said, let's swing on over to the other camera, because here I've got Almoravid. This is actually a relatively hefty box as well. This is actually the second release in the Levy Campaign series also. So let's take a look at the back here and prepare yourself for mispronunciations galore. Hispania, 1085. The once mighty caliphate has fallen to squabbling Taifa emirs who paid the Christian kings parias gold to buy peace. Now, Alfonso VI puts those extorted dinars and his united realm to work. He musters a feudal host to rip the heart from Muslim Spain, the Visigoths' ancient seat of Toledo and its central plain, and seal his claim as Imperator Torias Hispaniae. But fight remains in Al-Andalus. Leone's strikes radiating from Toledo revealed the vulnerability of the emirs in their pleasure palaces. The strongest, Al-Meramid of Sevilla, risks his dynasty and invites a Muslim power unlike any the Christians have faced. Granada and Badajoz join his call to African fundamentalists to save Iberia's faithful. Yusuf's Almoravid empire stands ready with a giant army and fleet to hop the straits. A titanic clash for Hispania is set to unfold. And then there's a little bit more there. So, as I mentioned, it is for 1 or 2 players, ages 14 and up, plays in 3 to 4 hours. GMT indicates a complexity of 5 on a scale of 1 to 9, and a solitaire suitability 7 out of 9. So let's get the shrink wrap off of here and get this on open. Gotta say that this is a very unique topic for GMT. I don't think there are any other games from GMT that tackles the Reconquista. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So we've got our rule book. Looks like we've got a background book as well. So we're going to jump on in here real quick. I know some folks have mentioned in the past that my unboxing videos run a bit long. So I will try to rock through this a little quicker than usual. We're going to take a peek through here. So, of course, the concept of this series is that each of the players is mustering their army. They're levying armies, and it's a whole campaign game. So it's not just one battle that is taking place. So we see here discussion of the various different components. There is a card-driven aspect to the game as well. So we're seeing the setup and calendar. So talking about levying, how you raise your forces, how you pay your forces, and feed them as well. So we have campaign here. So your campaign plan, command, marching, battles. Battles take place on a separate battle board as well. So just kind of taking a peek on through here, talking about different commands, feeding, paying, and disbanding your troops, discussing victory, how you earn victory points. Then we've got some scenarios. Now, are the scenarios in here, or are they going to be in... Oh, I guess they're here. I was going to say maybe they're in the background book. So we have here spring 1085, summer 1085, because the game does run in seasons. So each turn is like 30 days, 30 to 40 days, if I remember correctly, as far as Nevsky, which is the first of the Levy and Campaign series, which actually tackles the Russians, the Rus back in the day. So it looks like we've got quite a few scenarios here. This is very cool. I'm liking this. And then, of course, it looks here that this is the full campaign. And discussion of specific rules for that full campaign as well. We get some key terms and also a bit of an index here. Or no, maybe they're just continuing key terms, but they're showing what case point each of those are. So that is the rule book. Not super long. Once we take the scenarios out, we're looking at about 25 pages of rules, so not too terrible there. Now, as I had mentioned, GMT has indicated a complexity of 5 out of 9. There we go. I guess the sensitivity on my autofocus is a little too high at the moment there. Anyway, I always point out that the complexity of GMT games is a touch higher, usually, in my opinion, than what's indicated. Not incredibly so, but I usually would say, like, bump it up a notch. So like a 6 out of 9. So here we've got our background book. So we're going to have some strategy tips. That's cool. Examples of play. This is what I love about the playbooks, or in this case, they're calling it a background book, are the examples of play. And whenever I'm trying to learn a GMT game that does have a playbook or background book, it's the first thing I read. Because for one, it always gives you a lot of nice detail about the actual subject. And for the most part, you're going to find a nice, in-depth example of play. And as you can see here, I'm paging through this, and we're getting a really nice example. Here's the combat, the battles as well. So we're showing different rounds of battle. And then we're going to get into, it looks like this is some historical information about Almoravid and the Reconquista. Histories of the various different leaders and lords. Oh, quite a few were involved here. Once again, we have a nice number of campaigns to involve yourself as well. Here we've got a mini game, which I would take a stab at. That's probably going to be a good way for you to learn how to play Almoravid. And of course, keeping in mind that the solitaire suitability of this game is 7 out of 9. So it is designed for 1 or 2 players. Now we've got some background about each of the cards, something that I always love as well from GMT Games. So that's pretty cool. Talking about different events and capabilities of the Muslims. And we get a bibliography here for some additional reading and some sources that were utilized as well. So we have both in English and in Spanish. And we got our game credits, and we have a card list on the back also. Let's see what other goodies we've got in here. We have got a sticker sheet, which is upside down as I pull it out. So I'll give you a better look at that sticker sheet here. There we go. And we've got some counter sheets. So these look like these are just informational markers for the most part. Dual-sided, of course. So I'd take a guess that we've got one color is for the Muslims and the other is for the Christians and their allies. So here we've got the counters for the various different armies, the forces available. And it appears that each of their leaders, it looks like, are on the back here. More informational tokens as well. It's got coin, lord's carts, mules. So we're going to get a reference here. So we've got this reference card. And we also have an orientation map of Iberia. We have a couple of player aids as well. So it's going to give us information about the various different commands. March, siege, storm, sally, supply, forage, ravage, tax, or pass. Discussing the forces, strongholds, battle and storm. Giving you the procedures for that as well. And then we get a sequence of play. And, of course, we've got two of these, one for each player. We have, if I remember correctly, I think this is used to kind of, like a shield, right? Nice artwork. This is very, very nicely produced, as you can see. I'm a huge fan of GMT Games. They're pals of mine. Very rarely do I run across something that there's any real disappointment in as far as GMT and their production quality. We have a mounted board. So we're going to have our map here. Try to give you a good look at each of the areas of this. I'm going to kind of move that box out of the way. Very cool looking board here. We have our calendar is over here on this side. We're going to track the passage of time. All right, don't be surprised if the focus drops because I was moving that board. I'll give you a better look at the rest of this as well. This is very, very nice. And, of course, very nicely produced mounted board as well. So this should hold up to a lot of repeated gameplay. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so we've got a variety of different wooden tokens in here. So we've got cylinders. We've got what look like cubes. No, they're actually not cubes. They're shields of different colors. We have some brown blocks as well in here. So we've got that. We also have this blue here, and these are also shields. Got six-sided dice, and matching the different colors of the two opponents. And then we've got a deck of cards, and we have our battle boards. And it looks like we've got some other stuff in here as well. So let me get my hobby knife out. We're going to take a peek here. If I can get the hobby knife in here without damaging these little boards. Okay, so we've got our attacker and defender. And then I think, yes, I was going to say, I think the other boards are for the commanders, the lords. So there's Yusuf, the Emir. All right, so let's kind of give you a quick peek at these. And we see it's got fealty, service, lordship, and command for each of these as well. As you can see, we've got quite a few of these. I would take a guess you're probably going to utilize most, if not all, in the full campaign. And then depending on which scenario you might be playing that's not the full campaign, you're only going to utilize a few of these. Of course, we've got Alfonso VI. So these are the Spanish lords and commanders. And their allies, of course. Wonder if we have El Cid. I got to be honest, I'm not sure if El Cid was around during this time period because it's 1085 to 1086. So, and off the top of my head, I don't recall when the Cid was active. All right, let's take a look at some of these cards here. Looks like we're going to have a few different decks. Arts of War. We have Command. Arts of War. So, of course, these Arts of War are divided by faction, right? So we got command cards. Looks like these are the Muslim forces because it looks like their color is green. So let's take a quick peek. We're not going to look at each and every card, but just kind of give you an idea of these as well. So looks like it's hopefully in focus. That not real positive. Hang on. Let me take a quick peek here. Make my preview screen. No, it's not in focus. Come on. Pick this up. Ah, yes. Good old. Let's see if I move these out of the way. Yeah. Of course, the autofocus isn't sure what it should be looking at. Yeah. See, now it's hunting. It's hunting around a little bit. So, of course, you got to remember this is a new camera. I have to play around with some of the settings here. I haven't had an opportunity to really dig into some of the differences between the Panasonic GH5 Mark II and my Panasonic G85 that I utilize as well. Yeah, it seems like it's probably better focusing down here because this is actually my kind of focus point. So here we've got, look like these are the various different commanders as well here. I have a variety of different lenses as well. So to get kind of a wider shot, I'm using what's basically the kit lens, which isn't the greatest lens in the world. So just kind of give you an idea. We've got some options passing here. And then we have the Arts of War for the Muslim forces. So I believe we'll have some events in here as well. Oh, there you go. And as you can see, you've got a couple of options on these cards as well. Nice. Card stock, very, very nice. They are not linen finish, but it is nice card stock. Of course, as I always talk about, you want to make sure if you're going to be playing a game a lot, spend the extra few bucks, grab some card sleeves. So then we've got this cool insert as well. So we've got the 4 decks of cards. We got some baggies as well for our counters. We've got our various, actually, I probably should have put the cards over here. we've got our different tokens here. We've got our dice. We have our battle board as well as the Lord boards or commander boards. We could squeeze those into there. We have our 2 different shields, our player aids, our counter sheets, which there are 3 of, our stickers for the cylinders, the really cool background book. There's a lot of cool stuff in here, as well as our rules. And lastly, I will actually just put the mounted board on top right there. All right, that is what we find in Almoravid, Reconquista and Riposte in Spain, 1085 to 1086 from GMT Games. I hope I have an opportunity to actually get this to the table and play. It's been tough lately to get some of the more complex war games to the table with the gang. All right, so that is it for this time out. Once again, keep in mind, Almoravid is available right now from GMT Games. It carries an MSRP of $90. And as I always like to point out with any of the GMT releases, if you have any interest whatsoever in this game, don't sit around and wait to pick it up. Grab it now. Don't wait for having to sit around for a second printing or have to pay extra by going to the secondary market. All right, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, be sure to ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when I upload videos such as this first look, it'll also tell you when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs right here on YouTube, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. Central. And, of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. All right, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy life to watch this video. And here's hoping each and every one of you gets to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang. Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. Check out the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch, or find out what YouTube recommends you check out from the channel. And of course, once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks for watching.